Up next, we got Nick. Good old Nick. I say good old Nick because his profile picture, he's so friendly. He looks so friendly. Looks like a nice guy. All right. So let's see. Usually I start at the end of a portfolio and see how old they are. And then kind of use their work as I go forward to see how they've scaled. Zero, is that you, Raggedy? Is that you? So this one's pretty sick. I like it quite a bit. It's fighting a little bit with itself on like where it has high amounts of detail and where it has low amounts of detail. Like it needs more areas of rest, I guess is what I'm saying. It's like picking areas where it has a lot of information is key. And then being careful with like how rough things get to look at like telling you what the surface is. Like, is this a strip of concrete paint? That's what it kind of feels like. And like how rough it is kind of makes you wonder the scale on the asset. These texts and like the little icons and stuff can almost most definitely be floated decals, right? Thanks for submitting, by the way, dude. It's cool. Details like this, like you see these dark edges here. Be careful with those being where like geometry edges are, just because it tends to either look like a normal map bake issue or like you were exposing the edges too harshly in your substance painter or substance designer material. It's cool though. Yeah, see, it's kind of everywhere, so it makes me wonder like if there was a bake issue or like if you were just doing like a harsh edge damage on everything. The design of this is pretty dope though. So but that's a year old, so let's move forward here. Polycount challenge, nice. Oh, speaking of challenges, the new challenges should be up the 17th on the Discord. So is that 2 days from now? Yeah, that definitely reminds me of Battlefield 2142. Man, I hope another one of those shows up someday. Such a cool franchise. Or change on the franchise. So material-wise is really interesting. I find the breakup in materials pretty nice. Resolution-wise, it gets pretty low here, but I mean, when you get really close, right? It all depends on like what this is used for. Is this like, if this is for first person, most likely it's going to be taking up like a decent chunk of the screen. And in that aspect, I think resolution-wise, this is probably okay. It gets a little low around the metal edges here. Like in this area. Like I almost wonder if this would be a tileable instead of being like uniquely, I don't know if it's uniquely mapped or whatnot, but it feels like it might be a tileable. And then the metal aspect, like here, the metal is really showing well. Like I guess in this render, I don't know if this render is like different from these ones, but it feels different. This one looks super nice. I really like this one just because of the highlight on there. Yeah. Let's keep moving forward here. So Sci-Fi Hallway. So this is 8 months ago. So the probably one of the more difficult things about Sci-Fi. Rasmus, what's up, man? Raster says you should do more tutorials, by the way. Thought it was really good. Awesome. Awesome. So the hard thing about sci-fi elements is how like geometric they are, but then at the same time, they don't look 3D, if that makes sense. Like, obviously sci-fi isn't real, right? But like when you go geometric, the hard edges that become like everywhere because of that tend to be telling of it being 3D versus an environment that's in a game or something like that. And then like where things are at and their reasoning, like these feel like steps to me, but then I don't see a door. So then my brain's like, well, are these like shutters or these things that lift up or what? These panels float quite high off the ground, or they're really thick. So you think about like a person going over that and tripping. I feel like tripping would occur quite often in this hallway because of these. These look like they open as well. I don't know. My brain's like, what? There's like little handle hook things here too. So like thinking logically about, not that you're not thinking logically, but thinking about the logics of how things are put together and why things are where. Like I'm seeing these and I'm guessing those are there for people that are walking around to hook onto in case gravity just turns off and this is in space. They're designed to make people trip. This is a insurance policy just sitting there. But yeah, thinking about why something is there and why it's shaped the way it's shaped, why it is the color that it is. Like thinking about the materials. Let's see here. Just scrolling through here. So this looks pretty interesting. I think the paneling here is really is lacking information that I'm expecting to be seeing. And the fact that it's so simple throws me off a little bit. Like even if there was like a little, every once in a while, like a normal mapped hatch or something like that. Like these panel pieces here. Let me see what else is in here before because I want to go kind of deep into that stuff. This one's difficult because of the lighting scenario. While there's atmosphere, it feels like the atmosphere isn't as thick as you would expect it to be. And then geometry wise, like how come there's rocks here but not around over here or over here? Nice. So like adding extra edges to that, beveling it a little bit more, maybe adding like a darker spot in the middle there just to let us know that it's kind of bent in. And then, yeah, it looks like it needs more geometry to sell the shapes that are present. Composition wise as well, like I feel like it'd be further back and you'd probably put the vacancy sign maybe here because the focal point's this. Right now the focal point's the panel and then you have a lot of information behind it, so it gets really busy. Pumpkin King, what's up? How you doing? 3D Caster, how you doing? Marco, what's up, man? Guiding lines? Yeah, so these here, yeah. So compositionally, this one I think is stronger than this one, though I like the angle of this, like how low you are to the ground. Oh man, okay, I'm gonna do it. We might go over a minute or two. Just gonna move this over here. You can't see it now, I'm sorry. Oh, maybe you can. What if I turn ref on? Huh. Kind of works. Nice. Okay, so you have not missed the Discord critiques. They start in about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So like you have, I'm just gonna make a panel really fast here. So you have your vacancy sign, right? Compositionally speaking, it's there. What do we have? Like, what else do we need here? We need something like this. Okay, so let's just say that this is back here. So framing wise, it's still not as close as what you've done, but like, where did my, oh, here we go. Having everything pointing to this, and this is the focal point, right? I'll turn this off now. And then the sign being here, I think you can get a better compositional layout. Man, I just need more time. I need to stream longer, guys. I need to stream longer. Because I really like all the stuff that's here. Like, detail-wise, it needs a fidelity pass, like, and material pass, where it doesn't feel like these are just duplicates of each other. And they're not so noisy. Like, it's really difficult with stuff like this. Rule of thirds, yeah. I mean, it's kind of there with this. Like, this is a little too centered. It would be more about here. Like, this shot is pretty strong. But it really comes down to, like, understanding where all the detail is. It feels like it's about halfway done right now. This turned out pretty well. I like the attention to detail on the walls. I feel like you're doing that edge information thing again. I don't know where that's coming from. That looks like it's probably material damage. Like through Substance Painter. It's like making sure it's not so uniform and is more like directional to like maybe the base. So like a lot of the metal damage is going to happen down here just because where people are and what they touch and all that stuff. That's pretty important. I can't do this song. It's a little too. It's a little too. Raz, I'll answer your question right after this portfolio review. So, see how you have like the damage information down here that kind of leads the viewer to believe, okay, this is the ground. This is where like all the gunk and the dirt and stuff happens. All the buildup, all the nastiness that falls to the ground. Now, you think about it with the chipping and the damage is going to be the same. Like, most of the damage is probably going to be around this panel and, like, around here and here and here. Just by the nature of, like, what people are experiencing or what people are touching, right? So, like, lots of touchings happening here. Fingerprints. Dirt kicking up from the ground is going to hit around here. Like there's all the buildup there. These vents are going to be kind of gross and maybe even spill out some air that's making it dirty on the ground around that. So in the panel being dirty here, like with that said, everything else that would happen up here is going to be more weather damage, right? So like kind of like what you're doing here with the dripping. The dripping is a little strong, but the weather damage is going to be more up in this area. And then all the damage that's down here is going to be more from, it's going to be a combination of weather damage and then just by the nature of people always interacting with the space. You probably do a little bit of damage here, but it would gradient off pretty quickly after the panel here. I guess this top piece probably comes down, right, to close it fully. So in that case, maybe some scrape marks to help describe that would work. But yeah. Let's see what else we got here. We'll look at this canister, Ghostbusters, the Rat Trap. So this one's modeling wise is pretty good. I think where it's lacking is in the materials. Explaining what type of material it is and where the damage happens and where the gunk builds up. It's kind of like that same story where it's just like down here looks pretty awesome. But I feel like maybe the roughness information that we're seeing is difficult to depict like what type of material it is. And if the prop, you're getting this close to it, I would totally just model these bolts in. It's kind of weird that these wires would be so exposed. Well, it's so exposed for so long. Like, it's okay for them to be exposed, but I think either they need to be, like, taped down in certain spots, or, like, there needs to be, like, some type of strap thing that's keeping them together. Just adding that like information that adds the fidelity, right? The storytelling and like if there's like a little bit of tape here, because Ghostbusters are always kind of slapping stuff together as well. That'd be pretty cool. The plate that it's resting on is quite thin. I would expect maybe to be maybe closer to this or double, just so that it has like that weight that you're expecting. But like my favorite part on this asset, I think, is this area, just because it's got nice areas of rest. It's got different material types, some interesting shapes. The normals look like they might have baked a little odd here, and then I'm seeing that like that dark edge again. So watch out for that. What else we got here? Yeah, these bolts or these screws totally just make like a modeled version of it. Even if it's like a card with a few verts added to it and it's lifted, because you're just going to get so much more fidelity, detail, or bang for your buck when it comes to that stuff. This is really like, this looks like galvanized. Would that be galvanized like steel? I don't know. No, that's wrong. That's wrong. It's very rough though. I know the metal, like I know the metal that's in my head of this, and it's very rough. So I guess that's a good thing. I was gonna say maybe making it smoother, but it's almost like a pipe, right? Which they could have been building from this stuff to build these things. Anywho, yeah, I was gonna say with this one before we switch around, is add those bevels. Hey, shout out to Maru, 4 months Prime Subaruni. Thanks, man. Yeah, I think it's lacking a lot of information that you would expect to be there, and I just think adding information that depicts how the space is used in a logical way is going to be the key going forward with this type of stuff. Definitely sci-fi though, very blue. I think maybe adding some other colors in here would help. But yeah, cool. I'm going to get to the next portfolio, and then we've got to get to Discord critiques. We're running slightly behind, but that is okay. It happens. It happens. All right, be right back.